Welcome to the Mind Body Business Show. The 3 keys to your success is just moments away. Here's your host, Brian Kelly.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Mind Body Business Show. Oh, goodness gracious, me oh my, as I like to say. We have an amazing show lined up for you tonight. Our guest expert. You are going to love this person. She is an amazing woman who has so much experience and success in the area of entrepreneurship, in branding, taking offline to online your business. I cannot wait to bring her on, and I will very soon. But first, real quick, the Mind Body Business Show. What is that all about? Well, in my now 54 years on this planet, circling the sun, I've noticed over that time, and most recently, I started focusing on just successful people, learning about successful people. What do they do? What are their habits? What are their recipes for success? What are their patterns? And that's what happened. I started noticing patterns of successful people. And I thought, my goodness, if there's a pattern and I followed that pattern, i.e. modeled them, could I also achieve success? And the answer is absolutely yes, and it's amazing. So did you know it only takes one recipe to make success in your life? You can have 5 successful recipes to make a cake, for instance, but you really only need one. You don't need all 5, just one. All 5 are successful. If you have one recipe and you know that person's successful and they do it with integrity and character, then follow and model. So I found these patterns in successful people. One was mindset. They have an empowered, rock solid, positive mindset, all the way rooted down to the subconscious mind, not just the conscious mind. Very important. Think and Grow Rich is a great place to start if you want to know what that's all about. Also, neuro-linguistic programming, which is called the science of success, NLP for short. Just over 30 years old. It's a proven science. I am also certified in that and know that it works. So those are 2 great resources for you to look up. And body. What I've noticed with successful people is they take care of themselves, both inside and out. And that means inside by putting in the proper nutrition, things that fuel the body in the proper way, nothing processed, all natural. And exercise. Get up and move. Get up and move. If your joints hurt, it's not necessarily the best thing to do is not resting your joint. It's the opposite of what many tell you. It's moving and strength training. But the bottom line is, if you're not moving, start. Just start and get moving. And that's another successful trait of entrepreneurs that are successful. And then business. That is multifaceted. We're talking about sales, team building, marketing, systematizing, scaling, many different skill sets that you can learn over time. And we'll discuss really easy way to do that in just a moment. A hint is from what you see behind me on the back wall. And that is, if you just master one of these, mind, body, or business, you will see profound improvements in not only your business, but your personal life. To me, the baseline, the foundation of all success without fail, the number one, if you were to start in any one area, would be mindset, bar none. And that may surprise some of you. I kid you not. You could have all the skills in business and be really good at them, but if your mindset isn't straight, you're not operating at what I call a peak level of performance. Hence the name of the company, Reach Your Peak. And that's what it's all about, is helping you, the viewer, the audience, the listener, to reach your peak. And I bring on incredible experts like the one you're about to be introduced to. Her name is Ronita Godsi. I can't wait to bring her on, again, really soon. But I just wanted to give you a brief outline of what the show's about. And concerning success and great, easy ways to learn skill sets right now is by reading books, simply reading books. And many years ago, I was given this incredible advice by a multimillionaire who had flown me out back east, picked me up in a limo, had me picked up in a limo. I stayed in his office. We met for 2 days. I didn't stay there, but we met for 2 days to sign a contract. And in that time, he told me this story about, one of the greatest ways to become rich, Brian, is to simply read. And I ignored him. I flat out said, no, in my mind, no way could that be that great. I mean, come on. And it's not just reading any books. You get that, right? It's reading the right books. And so with that, I want to segue into a little section I appropriately name bookmarks.
Bookmarks. Born to read. Bookmarks. Ready, steady, read. Bookmarks. Brought to you by reachyourpeaklibrary.com.
Yes, real quickly, reachyourpeaklibrary.com. You see it next to me. And by the way, for those of you watching live right now, or even after the recording is done and or audio on podcast, do yourself a favor and stay here with the show. In other words, continue listening, continue watching, and get out a pad of paper and a pen, whatever your method is for taking notes, and take notes. So when Ronita or I give you a resource, write it down. Do not go off and visit it, because what happens then is you may be concentrating on that instead of what Ronita's about to say, and you could miss out on the one nugget that could propel you to superstardom. And I kid you not, it all happens in the room, quote unquote. So stay in the room. That is my advice to you. So reachyourpeaklibrary.com. That is a site I put together literally as a gift for you, the entrepreneur, the business person that is looking to take it to the next level. And what happened was, after I discounted that one mentor's advice, luckily years later, I had another mentor come into my life. I ended up working with him for several years. I spoke on his stage for 2 of those years, training his students his material. And he showed me by example, not by words, by walking around and listening to books. And once I found out you could listen to books, I went crazy with it, because it turns out I love listening to books far more than reading, because I would get eye fatigue. And I didn't know there was a different mode to ingest this information until my mentor showed me by walking around his house at that time with his headphones on. I'm like, what are you doing? So I'm listening to a book. I said, what? And so I started listening voraciously, reading voraciously that way. And as I did, I started cataloging all the books that had an impact, a positive impact on me, either through business or personally. Most of these are dealing with relatable topics of business. But look, business is a relationship. It is still personal. There's really not a big divide between business and personal relationships, because in order to be successful in business, one must develop relationships and nurture those. And so I began reading these, and then I would bookmark sections as I listened to them. And I just wanted to give this out, put this out there, and let you know it exists. It is. I don't charge anything above and beyond. These are links to, I think, Amazon, where they go, where you can purchase the book in either physical form, Kindle form, or even Audible form if they exist, if they're available. So that is for you, my gift to you. If you haven't started reading, just pick one book, whichever one jumps off the page first. Don't go crazy overanalyzing all of them. Grab one, because if it's there, I've read it and I vet it. I say it's a good book. It doesn't mean I guarantee it'll be good for you, but the odds are increased that it could be, because at least one person said this had a profound effect. So there you have it. Speaking of having profound effect, oh my goodness, guess what time it is? It is time to bring on our special guest expert, because this show is about her tonight, as it is every night with my special guest expert. It's not about Brian, it's about Ronita Godsi, who is coming on right now. Yes!
It's time for the Guest Expert Spotlight. Savvy, skillful, professional, adept, trained, big league, qualified.
And there she is, ladies and gentlemen. The one, the only, the beautiful Ronita Godsi. Yes, welcome, welcome, welcome. How are you doing tonight, Ronita?
Very well, thank you. And you?
Fantastic, fantastic. This is Ronita's international television debut, and she is just, look at her. She's so radiant and smiling and happy. She can't wait to get this going. And neither can I, because Ronita, I've talked to her several times in the past, and she has a lot of value to give to you, the audience. And we're just going to have a chat. She and I are just going to talk together. And this is the way every show goes, is where it's two entrepreneurs having a chat. And very soon, I will kind of stop talking as much as I have been and let Ronita take over. But just before we do that, I want to quickly remind everyone that's on here that we do have a wonderful giveaway. And for you to know how to get this wonderful prize, which is a 5-night stay at a 5-star resort in Mexico, compliments of my good friends at powertexting.com. In order to know how to enroll or enter to win, stay on to the end and we'll give you that information all the way to the end. Fantastic. Let's bring on Ronita. I want to introduce her to you, and then we'll dive in and actually see what makes this woman so successful. Does that sound good to everyone on? Good. I see the nods. I don't, but I'm just acting like I do. Ronita is an expert at branding, web development, sales funnels, and marketing, and is the business development director of iDezzine, and that's spelled IDEZZINE. I thought that was pretty creative, pretty clever. A company that helps businesses from creating your unique brand messages to designing meaningful experiences for your audience that grows your online business. Ronita is fully dedicated to helping entrepreneurs across the globe to realize their potential and to achieve success. She has helped hundreds of coaches, speakers, authors, and mentors build step-by-step, direction-driven strategies so that they reach more clients and, here it is, make more money, because that is what really is important to entrepreneurs, not because we're money mongers, but because the more money we make, the more people we can help and serve. And there is absolutely everything right with that. With that, Ronita, welcome to the show. So that was a really cool intro. That was something you wrote, and it gives people a good idea of where you're coming from, what your skills are. And what I love to do every single show is I like to dig a little deeper and get into what makes a successful person like you, I say, tick, which means what's going on under the hood, what is happening. And one of my favorite parts is to open that up with is what happens when you open up your new day. When you get up, when you wake up, you slide over, your feet hit the floor. And if you're anything like me, you're like groggy and you're coming to, and you're starting to realize that, okay, a new day's coming, and then it starts to set in. And what is that? It's the drive, it's the motivation, it's whatever it is for you that really gets you going in the morning to tackle the day and go out and serve more people. So for you, Ronita, specifically, what would that be if you have one, maybe more, either way?
I do. There's something that I do every day, and I know when life starts to get a little bit challenging, the first place I'll look is if I've gotten busy in the morning and not done that. And that's really waking up in the morning. I have a journal where I write down, there's like 3 pages full of what my vision for the future is, as if it's now. And I'm a very visual person, so the act of writing it down really makes a difference. And then once I've done that, and that goes through all the areas of relationships and clients and money and who I am as a person, who I show up as in life. And then I'll set 3 intentions for the day of what do I really want to, if I look back at the end of that day, what do I want to have achieved? And then I go into gratitude of just everything that I am grateful for, every little thing that's happening now, and there's just so much to focus on. So when I start my day that way, and that's my form of meditating, I'm not very good with the meditations that are the audios that take you through, but I just get very quiet and my gratitude and my intentions, and that sets the day for me. And especially when, like certain mornings, like this morning, just so happens, woke up with lots of interesting conversations going on in my head, and to get out of that space was doing this practice. Wow. And really, one of the things it took me a long time to get, but I really practice that, is the belief that things happen for me and not to me. So with that mindset, when you were talking before about mindset, I totally agree with you. So that when something challenges me during a day, or something with one of my daughters, or something with clients, or just anything it could be, there's always once I've gotten myself out of that rabbit hole of really looking what is there here that's a gift? Where is the lesson? where is the skill that I perhaps need to develop for the next phase of my life. And that shifts everything around. That shifts the perspective around to really look at what can I glean here to learn. I believe that life is the outside is a reflection of the inside. So if there's something on the outside, it's just reflecting back something that's inside of me. And where can I look in there and find the gift there?
Wow.
That was a long-winded answer to your question.
That was phenomenal, phenomenal. And I'm curious, so you talked about you journal 3 pages, you set 3 intentions, and you go through gratitude. I'm curious as a person, because this so deeply interests me, Ronita. I love this. About how long each morning does it take you to get through that process that you just described?
It takes a good half hour.
How long?
20, 30 minutes.
Oh, that's it. Wow. You write 3 pages and all that in 20 to 30 minutes? You're a speed writer. I love it.
Yeah.
And so one of the things, I'm taking notes as we go along, so those that are watching and listening, I don't ask you to do anything I don't do myself. Let's just put that out there. So I love this, Ronita, because this follows another pattern of successful people, entrepreneurs, business people, athletes, you name it. And that is, there's a couple words that come to mind. One is discipline, and a softer, more empowering word is routine. And that you have a routine that you do every single morning, and you do the same, you follow the same steps. The results are probably different each time. I doubt you write the exact same words 3 pages long each. 3 intentions are probably different, maybe some overlap. And then gratitude is just being thankful for everything around you. And I love how you frame things about how things happen for me, not to me. That is so powerful, and that is mindset at work, at play, in Ronita's mind, and that's why she is where she is today. She's a successful entrepreneur. And for those of you watching and listening, if you don't have a routine put down, I've had many entrepreneurs on this show. Some do it in the morning, some do it in the evening, some do it both and do a different routine on each end. The bottom line is having a routine, not just to have a routine, but to have something that's empowering, that gets you farther. And for Ronita, and this is a personal process, and so you may have to play around with this for those of you watching and listening, but start with one. Model one person. Model Ronita. Journal 1 page if 3 pages is too much. Set 3 intentions. That's pretty easy. Can you give an example of an intention so people have a good idea?
I want to touch base on what you had said before. I think when I started, one of my first mentors had said to me to actually put a timer on, and I started off with 2 minutes. And that it was just doable. It was manageable. And when the thing rang at 2 minutes, I was done. So whatever I managed to write in that time frame, I was done. The same thing with reading. He would have me write down gratitudes for 2 minutes and read for 2 minutes. And sometimes I find that when my mind starts going off on negative tangents, I'll look, I'm either not doing my morning ritual, or I'm not reading other books. So not nonsense, but interesting conversations are going on. And to get back into the routine, I'll still put a timer on for 5 minutes and just read for 5 minutes, so that it's bite-sized pieces that I'm setting myself up for success. So I love that you had mentioned that to people who are listening, that you don't have to do half an hour. And there are many days that it feels overwhelming. But once I get into it, that feeling of what I'm creating becomes so real that my whole day shifts.
Wow. Simple yet brilliant. I kid you not. So you got some great advice, and I love that it brings it down to bite-sized chunks, because my first thought, 3 pages in 30 minutes, if I were to follow your model, I'd be like stressed because I don't know if I could do 3 pages in 30 minutes by itself. But the thing is, and that's why, you make it your own, but you just said, back it off, break it off in chunks. And I love how you can just reset your day by just going back. I'm going to just do another 5 minutes of reading. I've never heard this by anyone before you. And this is, I love it. It's genius.
One of my early mentors was Barry Shaw, who was amazing. For me, it was, where I had come from, because I came from such, no judgment on anything, but just a victim mentality. So he had me read As a Man Thinketh by James Allen.
Yes.
Written like over 100 years ago. But this whole concept that we are what we think was so outside of the box for me. I thought that I lived in this space and that had absolutely no concept that you could go out of that. So one of the things that's very important for me now, because I've lived so many decades in that victim mentality of why are things happening to me and what am I doing wrong and all of that, becoming 100% responsible and accountable for my life, regardless of what's coming in front of me, has been a game changer for me. And that's taken years and it's nowhere near perfect, but it helps get me back on track so I don't stay down as long, or I don't get off track as deeply, and it's easier to bounce back. I just wanted to share that.
It's all brilliant because, I mean, my goodness, As a Man Thinketh. So this is a great resource for everyone. Everyone pick up that book, As a Man Thinketh. There are a couple other books I'd like to throw on the back end of that. Think and Grow Rich, of course, is one that hits mindset pretty hard, and it starts to make it more tangible for you to use in your business. And then to take it yet another step to make it super intensely tangible is Secrets of the Millionaire Mind by T. Harv Eker. That was a book I could not put down. It was just unbelievable, off the charts, amazing information. What a page turner. I would actually do it in that order, though, because As a Man Thinketh, as you said, was written a very long time ago. Think and Grow Rich was a long time ago, but not quite that long ago. And then Secrets of the Millionaire Mind are pretty much based on today and very relatable to business.
Yeah, if you're open to it, there's two others that I would put in there too. The Science of Getting Rich by Wallace Wattles, who was the precursor to Think and Grow Rich, and Creating Money, the Keys to Abundance, which I think takes all of that woo stuff, like all the Esther Hicks and all of that attraction part, and breaks it down into it makes so much sense what they're talking about. That's a book that's really worth reading. That's one I'm really delving into now at the moment, and that's a good one.
Fantastic. So, and just for folks that are watching, look, these are recommendations that are coming from a successful entrepreneur. If you have an account on Amazon, these are things I do when I'm in a seminar and I see a speaker on stage and I see that they're successful, like you, Ronita, and they start giving recommendations of books. I'm on my phone literally buying them at that moment.
Yes, the same.
And so for those of you watching and listening, I implore you to do the same, do similar things, is to just take action all the time. Get in the habit of that. As you can tell, Ronita is an action taker. And one of the reasons she is she's very well read, and she's had mentorship and coaches. Ronita, you've got everything. You've got the whole package. You are where you are because of what you've done. And that is a culmination of it's your mindset, number one, and then you're an action taker. There's no doubt. And because I know that because you had coaches and mentors. Many people, the ego would get in the way. I can do it on my own. That's just a recipe for failure right there. But you are the opposite. And I
did do it on my own at the beginning.
What's that?
I did do it on my own at the beginning. I learned the hard way.
Yeah.
One of the questions you would ask is like, what would you do differently? And it would absolutely get mentors in earlier, because if you can find anything that you want to do. Someone has already done it, and if you can just approach them when they're successful, they are so happy to show you what they've done. It's paying it forward, and you literally just have to step in their footsteps. You're going to create your own. You're not going to be a carbon copy of them, but there's such wisdom that you can glean from anyone that you're talking to. So I absolutely encourage that.
Yeah.
I do it the hard way. I would not do it that way again.
And that, that's okay. I think I have not yet myself met one Ronita entrepreneur that's made success that didn't start out trying to figure it out on their own. It's rare. But what I love, the message you're giving right now is do it sooner rather than later. If when you start, if you're doing it on your own, it's not if, but when you'll begin struggling, which will be very quickly. And just be in recognition of that. I'll be aware of that, and then find the help. And you know what? You have a connection right now, right here, reach out to Ronita and say, Ronita, do you have any recommendations of people I could hook up with and model and or hire as a coach or a mentor that you have done? You can reach out to me. You can reach out to any of us, because like Ronita so properly stated, these people want to help you. They can't wait to share with you how they became successful. And guess what? The way they became successful was that they modeled someone else too. It's amazing. So why reinvent the wheel? Why go through that struggle? Very powerful message, Ronita. So thank you so much for bringing that to the front. Very, very powerful. So I can tell you're a very avid reader. So are you reading a book right now?
I'm actually really focused on the Creating Money, the Keys to Abundance one. And the Hero with 1,000 Faces, Joseph Campbell's work, I find just fascinating. I'm always fascinated, and you mentioned that at the beginning, of what makes people who they are, and the perspectives that they have, and getting into their shoes and understanding it. Because if you can do that, and you can shift it for them 1%, you've changed the whole trajectory of their life. And there's just so much I can learn from talking to people and understanding their model of the world. So that's a big one for me.
Yeah, and in neuro-linguistic programming, we call that the IR, internal representation, and it's a fascinating topic, and it makes nothing but sense. And what you just said was absolutely on point. If you could understand what their thought processes are, their patterns, and how they react to certain things, you can communicate more effectively with them, because they will understand you better if you know how to speak to them. And you know that covers business. That also covers personal relationships. So it's
absolutely. I mean, even just being a mum of 4 girls, being able to, and it took me till child number 4 to get this one of, they see their world their way, and I think everybody really, what they want at the heart of it is to be heard and understood and acknowledged. It doesn't matter whether you see the world differently, but I think once you're able to do that, they can take a breath, and then there's space in them to hear another perspective, perhaps. And you don't have to agree, but that was a very interesting lesson to learn as a parent, that bled over into everything else and all my relationships with people.
Yeah, our reality is a culmination of our experiences and our learnings as we're growing up, and everything that combined going through, and no two people's realities are identical. And so there is no such thing as a single reality. Everyone has their own, and that's kind of a mind-blowing concept in its own right, but it's so true if you think about it. I mean, you could have two people go to a wonderful event, maybe go back to college, a great party, and two guys go to the same exact party. They are standing side by side and experiencing and seeing and listening to the whole thing. They get done. One guy says, "Man, that was a phenomenal party. Oh my gosh, the music was great. There were so many beautiful people. How did you like that?" The other guy, having experienced the same exact thing, says, "It was horrible. What are you talking about? The air conditioner, it was too cold in here, it was too loud, and that person annoyed me," the one that was talking to both of us. Just amazing how two people can have a total different reality from the same exact experience, and they could be standing literally side by side. So very, very on point. So there's a lot. Go ahead.
I wanted to go back to something that you had asked before about giving tips to entrepreneurs, and I wanted to share something else that one of my mentors, Ken Courtwright, incredible gentleman, owns the Income Store. He has a podcast that's on just brilliant information. And a few years into my business, maybe like 6-7 years ago, I've been doing this for about 15 years now, and he said, take what you do and look for other people who are serving the same clients and collaborate. There's plenty for everyone, but when you collaborate together, you are serving that client so much better that it becomes a win-win for everyone. And that's how I built my team over the years. And I just wanted to put that out there as well.
I think that's a golden nugget. It's powerful because so many are in the competition mindset, and it's amazing how it doesn't take much for two individuals' businesses to be different. Very little. And the cool thing is, if you're both if you're both going after, say, the same exact client, it turns out that that client will probably only want to work with one of you. And if they didn't have both of you in front of them and you weren't the one they chose, and you were the one talking to them, then they'll have nobody to work with. And so you're doing the person a service by bringing more talent in front of them, and someone that matches their needs in a better way. Or maybe they just feel better with one of you versus the other. You could be the greatest person, most friendly, and you get that, right? That personalities, we're attracted to different people for different reasons. And when you do that, though, and you're looking, that's an abundance attitude, right, Ronita? It's not a scarcity mindset at all. And when you do that, there are a lot of people in this world. There are many people to sell to. And when you do a collaborative approach, you're just opening up not only the possibility to get more clients for both of you, but
100%.
But you're opening your mind to the openness of abundance versus scarcity.
Yes.
Yeah, so thank you. A great tip. I wrote a note. Collaborate, yes. That was the other thing, joint venture partnering. If you're just starting and you don't have, say, a monster list, like an email list or a big following on social media, then start following someone, like you said, Ronita, that's somewhat in a similar niche, and then see what you can do to help them, reach out to them, offer them help, offer to give a shout out to their next upcoming event, be someone of service, give them value, and then ask, hey, is there any way I can work with you or learn from you? Always ask, and just be professional about it, and be helpful along the way. It doesn't matter how much money someone makes; they still need help.
I love what you said, because I think taking the time to understand, like, whoever that mentor is that you want to work with, and understand what they do, and really take the time to see where you think that there's a gap that you could offer contribution to and offer that to them. That's phenomenal. That's a heart-centered place to come from, and that only comes back to you manyfold. It may not come from that particular person, but you'll see it come back from other places. So I love what you just said.
Yeah, and along those lines, what I learned was, find out, do some research on that person, get to know them as much as you can. And now it's easier than ever with social media, assuming they're active on it, and find out what their charities are. And then, if they're, make sure they're in alignment with you. I mean, you don't want to just be false about it. And then maybe donate time or even money toward it, and just that you'll have that thing in common when you do make that personal introduction, and it will go that much smoother. But be genuine about it. Be authentic. Is my advice. Just like Ronita is. Look at her. Can you tell? This is one authentic, integrity-filled, character-based woman, and I'm so happy to have her on this show, because that's all I have on this show are people like Ronita, that they're superstars in every way, in every step of the way. And you can tell why. She's got it all. She's got the whole package. She's got mind, she's got body, and she's got business. All of it, all in one package. Definitely very skilled.
It's a constant, everyday process. I mean, I don't think you get to any place where you just stop. You'll slowly die inside you. There's always more to where there's all, like doing this today. It's so outside my comfort zone. But this is a growth for me, because this is definitely not something I would do.
And you know what? I'm going to tell you right now, you're a natural. I mean, I know there's stuff going on inside, but you're an absolute natural. And this is just the first of many. Watch for Ronita, the world premiere of Ronita's interview show coming up soon near you, because this is just a spark. And what a great example you're setting, though, Ronita, in all seriousness, that you're actually stepping out of your comfort zone. I know that personally. And isn't that one of the recipes for success, is to do that cognitively on purpose over and over and over? And you did it because you knew that this would be good for you. You just knew that. And the subconscious tells you it's good, do it. The conscious is saying, yeah, but dang it, I'm nervous. I don't want to be in front of people right now, or whatever the thing might be. The thing is, you listen to the subconscious and it won out. And because of that, you are going to win out even farther each and every time you do this.
I've got to share with you that I've been very, very blessed with incredible mentors and coaches in my life. And one of them, David Corbin, had said to me, your comfort zone is really your coffin zone, and it just really landed.
Ooh. Ooh.
I know, it's just like, oh my gosh, I don't want to live like that. So it gave me a little bit of courage to push through it.
I am writing that one down. That is awesome. Your comfort zone is your coffin zone. Wow. Wow. I've never heard that before. Did he coin that phrase? Do you know?
I don't know, but he's David Corbin, incredible gentleman.
I'll get the spelling of the name from you later because I want to give him credit.
Corbin, David Corbin.
Oh, Corbin. Gotcha.
Yeah, Corbin.
Awesome. Thank you, David, and thank you for sharing that, Ronita. That's another incredible nugget. My goodness, you're full of nuggets tonight. I love it. Golden nuggets. We have, so as you go on in business, as we all know, being entrepreneurs, doing this every day, it's really, really simple to be successful, right? Exactly. And it takes struggle. It takes, like you said, repetition. You know what? If we did ever reach that point that you kind of described, that, you know, you don't just get to a point and stop, but what if you ever did? What if you got to that absolute pinnacle of success? You could go no farther. Personally, I would be bored out of my gourd.
I think if you ever get there, I think that's the sign for you to start another path and put a ladder up against another building.
Ooh. Exactly. Yeah.
I think what you said about how difficult it is, I think for me, it's almost like three things that are important. I think that taking the 100% accountability to whatever's happening, whether it's a challenge in the business. There's a phrase that someone had said to me once that communication is the response that you get. So if your response from somebody is coming back that it's not what you want, look first at you and how you're communicating, whatever it is. So that was a mind shift for me. I think being present and that's why that journaling for me in the morning of reminding myself what I'm doing this for and where I'm going to is really important. Rich Litvin talks about, when you're inspired by something, it's not a place to get to, but it's a place to come from. Because the fact that you have that desire within you, I believe, is divinely inspired. It's yours. And if you have that desire within you to create whatever business you're in as an entrepreneur, then there's the wherewithal all around you and the people and the resources that you need, like Napoleon Hill talks about. You just have to take action and start moving forward and keep your eyes focused on that clarity of what you're doing and your why. I think if you don't have your why, you mentioned before about just making money, and yes, making money is absolutely important because you can do so much good with it. But your why is so important. And there are times where I don't want to do something, and it takes effort to remember what that why is and that promise I made at that time to step into all of this. So I think that's very important.
So Ronita has given everyone in this short amount of time just about everything we teach, or what I used to teach from stage on a 2-day live event. It's just amazing. Every time you say something else, Ronita, it's another amazing, very attainable, achievable learning segment. You keep talking about being accountable, and yeah, I mean, that's like, we call that being at cause, same thing, where, if something happened, it happened for me, not to me. You use that kind of mindset and then say, well, whatever did happen, I wonder if in any possible way there was somehow one shred of a way I could be partially responsible for that particular thing happening. I mean, we trained all the things you're talking about. It's phenomenal. Communication is the response that you get. That's so true. It's on you if you're at cause. So here's a great one, like Ronita. How many times have you gone to a public event where there are business people around and you see business cards being exchanged left and right? And how many times have you ever had someone just come out and reach out with a card without even saying hello first? Like, here's my card, take it. Yes? Yeah. That's like, and what does that make you feel like? Like, get away from me. What are you doing? I didn't ask for your card. I don't even know who you are. And so along the lines of communication, I don't carry business cards anymore because of what I learned and train. And if you do carry business cards, the rule to follow that makes this so powerful, what Ronita just said, is don't give a card to anyone unless they ask you for it. That means you then did communicate and you have something of value that they want. That's because they're asking for your card. Some of them will just say, hey, give me your card, I'll give you mine. That's a different thing. But you know what I'm saying there. So communication is the response you get. So spot on. And the cool thing is, look, if someone doesn't ask you for your card, great, move on to the next person. They're not a fit anyway. It's okay. Not every single person you run into is going to be a business prospect.
They're not, but I take a slightly different approach on that. It's like, I really believe at this point that whoever's in front of me, there's a purpose for it. I mean, looking back, and especially working with so many coaches and mentors and just seeing the journey that they've taken, looking back, it's much easier to see nothing happens randomly. Everything is, I believe, divinely put and intricately put together for you to grow and expand. So if somebody's in front of me, there's either a lesson I can learn from them, or there's something that I can say to them that's just going to plant a seed. So that no one walks away not feeling better for having had that contact with you. It's not always about, who's my next client. I don't believe that's how business, when I've been successful in business, it's not been based on that. It's been based on building real relationships with people, one conversation at a time. Even when we scale online, it's based on one conversation at a time that you've perfected offline first, because the online is only going to scale whatever you've managed to achieve offline.
Absolutely. Yeah. And that is well said, beautifully said. And that shows me what a servant's heart you have, Ronita. You are one of, I won't say rare, but one of the one of the smaller percentage of people that I run into that really gets it when it comes to being one that is there to serve first. I'm not in it for me. I'm not in it for gain. Yes, ultimately that's what we need and want. But when you go at it with the servant heart and say, I'm here to help, how can I help you? Instead of vomiting all over them about what you do when you walk up to talk to somebody, it's like, hey, how are you doing? And tell me what you do, and maybe I can figure out how I can serve you going forward and help you. Yeah, gold. Woo-hoo. I love it. I love it. Okay, so going along the line of becoming a successful entrepreneur, like I said, it was super easy to become successful. We all know that. I'm kidding, of course. And along the way, though, some things have to take a back seat in your life for you to achieve that success, because the level of commitment must be all in or it doesn't happen. So for you personally, and I don't know if the word sacrifices is a good word, but we'll go with that for now, and you can rephrase it if you like. But what sacrifices have you had to make so far on your road to becoming a successful entrepreneur?
Well, I've always been an entrepreneur of sorts, ever since I was a teen. And I've been a single mom for a long, long time. And I worked in corporate for a little bit, and that was hard. My lunch hour was taken to go pick up the girls from school, take them home, come back to work. And then when I decided that I just couldn't, I'm very much a free spirit and independent, and I wanted to just branch out on my own. And I remember sitting the girls down and just saying, look, I'm not quite sure how this is going to work, but I'll do whatever it takes. I was holding down 3-4 different jobs just to make ends meet. If there was, so you're talking about sacrifice of time, sleep, being there for the goals. It was not easy, and it was not pretty. And there's fallout all the time, but I'm so incredibly grateful to be where I am today and have an opportunity to spend more time with them one-on-one. And it doesn't make up for everything that's happened in the past, but just for them to know how much I love them. They really took the brunt at times of what it took to build that business. And it was tough. It's not easy.
And, I know for a fact that they're going to look back on this and be so grateful for you and everything you've done. And it's difficult. And the thing I like to say is the past is the past. It's still in our mind, but the cool thing is we can now focus on what is ahead of us, and and then your kids are just going to, if they haven't already expressed it, they're just going to thank you.
They're very special.
Yeah.
I'm very glad. It's been an interesting journey to get to here. So it's not easy. It's not for the faint of heart. I think if you, for me, it's remembering my why.
Yes.
And that fuels me on times that are tough, and when I set myself up for success. Whatever your routines are, whatever you need as a human being to stay centered and to stay present and to set yourself up for success, whatever it takes, and it's trial and error, and it may shift and change and evolve over time, but you're your own best advocate to create that business. Because I think people want to do business with people and who you are energetically, that they resonate with. So
well said. And on the topic of finding your why, for those that may not understand that beyond what we've just talked about, it's finding that one thing that, so you started a business, you're passionate about it, you're excited, you're enthusiastic, emotionally charged, and then you're going to start realizing, but this is still work. And when the work hits, and when you have days where you don't make sales, and you have days that are bad, and you have clients that leave, that this stuff happens, and that can etch away at your emotion, at your charge, at your drive. And what Ronita is saying is, if your why is solid, what that why is something that you can go back to and say, I will never quit no matter what because of this why. This is what keeps me going. And for each individual, it's unique. It's a personal thing. For me, it is my wife. My wife is my why. I do everything with her in my mind, and I will not ever give up in achieving even greater success, because I want to live an even more empowered, loving, I don't know how it could be even more than it is today, because I'm so blessed as well, but I know it can, because I always get surprised. But she keeps me driven without saying a word, because she's my why. I went through a process, and your why might be your kids. It might be something else. It might be a charitable organization. It might be something that just is that thing that you would do anything. I mean anything. Maybe even lay down your life for that why, and then go back and say, well, because of that why, I'm going to continue doing what I'm doing and become successful, because when I become successful, I can now empower and further nurture that why. So I just wanted to expand on that a little bit.
Thank you. I'm glad you did. And I wanted to just add a little bit onto that.
Yes.
That I love speaking to people and trying to understand their why, because there's so much wisdom in that. And it's invariably, not always, but invariably, it is born out of a difficulty that they've gone through, whatever their wound is, that ends up being what they cannot not do for someone else, because they wanted it so much for them. So just as a little flagpole, if you're having a hard time finding your why.
I love that. I love that. Now, for those watching, everyone watching, by now they know they want to work with you, Ronita. I know it, because you have that.
I think it'd be the right match for them. I don't know until we've had a conversation.
No, but based on everything you've said and how you go about your life and where you are today, the experiences you've had, what you've overcome, your mindset, the fact that you're a serving heart, everything put together, I can't go through it all again right now. It's a full package. I know there are many, many people that would love to connect with you to see what exactly is it you do and how can you help them. So if you don't mind, I want to give you the floor and just say, what is it you're looking for? Who is your avatar? Who is your perfect client? Who are you looking to help and serve? And how can you help them?
Well, I love working. It's actually a privilege to work with the smaller entrepreneurs who have a gift or a talent, usually born out of their own wounds, but they have a gift that they want to share. And by the time they come to me or we connect, they are so frustrated and overwhelmed because they are trying to fit their business into a model that somebody else has given them. And you can't fit that square peg into that round hole. It doesn't work. So being able to step in and give them the support that they want and that they need. I'm a huge believer in hiring out your weaknesses, and I've done that with my own team. And it's challenging at times to do, but being able to free yourself from things that are draining you and focusing on what that gift is. And I mean, the gift of being able to see that light come back on in their eyes when there's someone there holding space for them and believing in them is huge. So really stepping in and looking at where are they in their business now? What do they want to scale online? Many times it's premature because the online is only going to magnify what you are offline. And if you haven't perfected that yet offline, that's where we step in first, not just me, but the whole team, in helping you articulate what it is you do and getting that feedback, that going through that feedback learning curve. Once you've perfected that, then taking it and scaling it online so that you reach more people is pretty easy to do. It's technology and taking your gift and automating it and systemizing it and duplicating it. So that's easier to do. The hard part is really understanding who you are in your business and what it is you offer and why it's so important. I think if you think of how many times we as entrepreneurs just like, I wish I could find X, Y, and Z person to come in and help me. There are people asking for that with your particular, whatever your gift is, they are asking for you to show up in their life. So it's helping entrepreneurs who have a service or a product that truly touches another person's life. Those are the people that I'm looking for, and they have to be heart-centered, coachable, action takers, take 100% responsible, have some success already. It's very hard to scale if you have not had success already. So by success, I mean have 8 to 10 clients, paid or not paid, doesn't matter so much, but 8 to 10 clients that you have served successfully. Because whether you know it or not, there's a system and a process that you use innately and intuitively. And then that's our job to take that and then break it down, automate it and systemize it so that you can go online with that.
That's an amazing, that's an amazing service you offer. My goodness, I could have used your service about 7 years ago. I recently transitioned, complete 100% transitioned from a fitness-based business into an online automation and marketing branding business, basically an entrepreneur training company now. And instead of personal training, now it's actual entrepreneur business training. And I didn't realize my passion and my gifts that you are describing, like how you extract that, until just literally about 3 months ago, and have been doing a complete rewrite of the business model and strategy and loving every minute of it. I now found my core competency and I love doing what I do. And it's been a great way to reset. But 7 years ago would have been nicer. If I had known Ronita Godsi, I would have said, I would have been, that's okay. I don't look in the past and go, crying over spilled milk. Never do that. Those experiences I went through for 7 years have done nothing but empower me for what I'm doing now. And I look at all the great things I learned, the struggles I went through, they're there for a purpose. Like you're saying, when you meet somebody, there's a reason why that happened.
I'll give you just like a little, unfortunately there was all sorts of abuse in the marriage, but one of the things that the real gift for me in that was being able to listen so deeply to what was not being said. So when I talk to people, it's just like zones into what they're not saying that I can pick up on and just show them back and kind of give them just clarity on that. So anything, your biggest adversities, there's absolutely a gift in there. It's not done to hurt you. It's done to, there's either a gift or a skill that you have there to polish.
Fantastic. And, this happens every single show, Ronita. We are near the end. Did you know that? Just like that. Poof, already. There is one more question. And this is a question that I like to ask every single guest expert that's been on this show. And it's truly remarkable because of the answers I've gotten to date. And you're going to love it. Before we get into that, I don't want to forget. I need to remind everyone that right now, I will give you the information on how you can enter to win that 5-night stay at a 5-star luxury resort in Mexico, compliments of powertexting.com, and I'll bring up the information on the screen right now if you're watching live. you can see that there are two ways to enter. If you want to use your phone and text, use that way, that's quicker and easier for you, then go ahead and do that. Or you can go to this website, themindbodybusinessshow.com/vacation. Yes, it's a lot to type, I get it. Open up a new tab, go ahead and do this right now. You have our permission to jump off the show for just a moment, but come right back. Themindbodybusinessshow.com/vacation. Or you can type in the phone number of 661-535-1624. Do that on your cell phone. And then put in the message, PEAK, P-E-A-K. And then hit the return button. So 661-535-1624. And type in the word PEAK. And you'll be automatically entered to win that 5-night stay at a 5-star luxury resort in Mexico, sponsored by PowerTexting.com. My good friends Jason and Rhonda have put together a phenomenal system. By the way, you will be exercising that very system when you enter, and you'll get to actually engage and experience their phenomenal system. And I highly recommend you take another deeper look. If you have questions about it, you can contact me as well. But go ahead and enter. I can't wait to give away. I give away a trip every single show, and I love doing that because it's just fun to give, isn't it, Ronita? It is just fun. And now, for that wonderful, game-changing question that, here's the thing, Ronita. The beautiful thing about this question is there is no such thing as a wrong answer. It's impossible. And in fact, it's just the opposite. The only correct answer is whatever your answer is, because it's kind of personal. It's not deep personal, but it means something different to nearly everybody. And on that, I will say, not two past guest experts, no two have answered it exactly the same way yet. I'm kind of blown away by that. And it's neat. It's awesome because it's personal in that way. And that just goes to show and prove there is no such thing as a wrong answer, and the only right answer is yours. So are you ready? It's going to be fun.
Okay.
She's ready. I see it all over. It no pressure whatsoever. It's your answer. It's yours. It's just unique to Ronita. And I know it's going to come to you very quickly. Ronita, how do you define success?
Oh. I think feeling fulfilled inside, feeling like I've touched a life. It doesn't really matter if it's 1 or 1,000 or 100 or 1,000,000, just being able to touch the person's life in front of me. That to me is success.
And true to form, once again, unique. No one else has ever answered it that way. I love what I get to do. And what I'm going to do is I'm literally going to compile a book with all of these incredible answers, yours included, and I will reach out to each of you personally to get your permission to do so. And that was that was a profound answer, I have to tell you. The fact that you said that, just to know that I've touched a life, and I'm not talking about 10, 100, 1,000,000, it's just the one in front of me. And that's that just epitomizes how you live in the present and how you are there for that person when it's that person that is in front of you. And another reason why I like you so much, love you so much, and that you're on this show helping everyone to learn what it's like, what it is to become a successful entrepreneur. So thank you so much for that. And
appreciate it.
We're not done with the gift giving yet, because this young lady right here also has a gift for you, and I would like to bring that up on the screen right now and let Ronita take it away and let you know what she is going to gift you tonight as well. So take it away, Ronita.
Thank you. I would love to gift whoever is open to it to just a 2-hour conversation. Let's get on a conversation and just see where you're at and what you're looking to achieve, and if I can give you some insights into what path you could take and connect you with resources that will help you get there, it would be an honor to do so.
Listen to this woman's language. It would be an honor to do so. I mean, she's so genuine and wonderful. And this is to actually contact her and sign up for that. Go to the following website, and I'll spell it after I say it. So it's iDezzine.com. And so iDezzine, I'll spell that. It's the letter I, then DEZZINE. So it's IDEZZINE.com / I like this part a lot. Mind, body, business, all together. Mind, body, business. You go there. If you see what you are looking at on the screen right now with a picture of some guy that looks kind of familiar, then you'll know you're on the right page. Thank you, Ronita, for putting that together. And then you get pick a time that's actually convenient for you that she has available for you. So it's a phenomenal thing. So iDezzine.com / mind, body, business. And thank you so much. 2 hours. My goodness, that's a lot. People recognize this. This is valuable time. And Ronita, you can tell she is a giver. She's there to serve. 2 hours. Very few people that I know personally would do that. It's phenomenal. So thank you for that, Ronita. That is amazing. I thank you on behalf of those who take part or take advantage of this. Go ahead and do that. Type that in right now as we close this out. And I wanted to ask one more thing of you, Ronita, and that is, what is the best way for folks to get in touch with you directly? Is it Facebook? Is it your website? What is your preferred method?
Absolutely the website.
The website, which is iDezzine.com, correct?
Yes.
And so go there, and there you'll see probably a contact. I'm going to look right now just to make sure. I want to be very specific and let people know exactly how to connect with this amazing, amazing woman.
Or LinkedIn. LinkedIn is the other.
LinkedIn, okay.
Easy to connect with me there.
And then here I see, so what we do, why, how we work, who we are, our clients, book session. That would be one way. So yeah.
That would be the easiest way to connect. Or LinkedIn is easy as well.
Okay, go to LinkedIn and look up Ronita Godsi. That's RONITA GODSI. And get connected there. I know she will accept your connection request without hesitation. Awesome. Ronita, you did an amazing job. You were phenomenal. What incredible value you provided. Thank you so very much. I cannot tell you enough. And thank you for everyone that watched and listened live. And for those of you that are listening or watching as a recording later, I appreciate you all. And that's it for tonight. We've hit it. We're going to be back next week. And I can't wait to see you all with another phenomenal guest expert. But until then, this is your host, Brian Kelly, along with Ronita Godsi, the one, the only, the amazing, saying good night for now and be blessed all.
Thank you for watching and listening. This has been the Mind Body Business Show with Brian Kelly.